If you find yourself still hurting about the heartbreak and you just don't know what to do to get over it, this video is for you.
So now to him who is able to do more than I ever could hope for.
I want you to know something about God. And I said this in my last video, is that he's a gentleman. And sometimes we can put pressure on other people to speed up their healing process. And we must understand that God will take you and lead you at his pace, not at your pace. So if you find yourself still struggling with those emotions, you still find yourself crying yourself to sleep, or having those bouts of depression and still figuring out why, I want to share with you that the grace of God is upon your life. And what I mean by that is that God has given you a measure of grace that is different from other people. God dealt with me in a way that perhaps for many may seem a little different. I went through the healing journey in a basement, and I was there for 2 years. And the healing journey continued thereafter. Or for others, they may be healed instantly or on the way. No matter how God wants to approach you or how he wants to lead you, know that you have a measure of grace. So that means that you should give yourself some grace. You went through something so painful, so heartbreaking. And the truth is, it's not going to always happen overnight. The healing may not happen from day to night. And you must give yourself some grace. You build an empire. You raise children, perhaps with this person. Perhaps you built a business and things just didn't go as it should have been. So give yourself some grace. Marriage is something that is so beautiful, yet very challenging, especially when you are at the brink of a divorce. Marriage is so beautiful. It's the greatest gift that God can give to humanity. But when your vision, your aspiration of a successful marriage seems to go down the drain, it could be one of the most tragic events that can occur to you. So give yourself some grace. Yeah, there are going to be days that you're going to be crying, and perhaps the next day you're going to be smiling. But know that as long as you have God by your side, he will sustain you through it all. Don't feel pressured to go at someone else's pace. Just because someone else seems to be happy doesn't mean that they're necessarily healed. And sometimes we may interact, especially on social media platforms, and we'll start to see the successes of other people or other marriages, and we'll start to quietly compare it to our lives and feel as though that we're not making progress. Listen, the fact that you woke up this morning, the fact that you are able to even see this video is a miracle. The fact that you were able to go through what you went through, you deserve a round of applause, because many people go through hardships and go through difficult times, and some people just don't make it through. But you have persevered through the pain. So know that there's a particular grace and pace that God has given to you, and don't feel pressure to accelerate the process. Sometimes some wounds are so deep, it takes a lot of healing for those broken pieces and those cuts to be reconstructed. So go at God's pace. Something else that I'm going to suggest that I want you to consider is to incline your ear to what God is telling you. Hear God for yourself. And I say this because when I was going through the healing journey, I received a lot of unsolicited advice. And though maybe it came with good intentions, some not so good, but I had to make the decision to hear God for myself. And I knew that God was giving me instructions and strategies and downloads that were pertaining to just my situation. And maybe it did not apply to other people. And so it is important that when you're going through this season in your life, that you train your ear to hear God for yourself. This is why it's so important to be in the presence of God so that you can recognize his voice. Sometimes God will tell you to do things that seems far-fetched. Sometimes God will tell you to do things that people may not agree with. But this is why it's so important that you stay hand in hand with God. Heartbreak is very challenging. It's devastating. And sometimes it takes years to heal. But I can say one thing to you, that healing is possible and that healing is on the way. Don't pressure yourself to be someone you're not. Don't pressure yourself to make decisions that you know God is not leading you to do. And don't compare yourself to other people. You just don't know what other people are experiencing behind closed doors. And you don't want to fall in the traps of comparison, trying to or aiming to be like someone else that probably may have it worse than you do. So stay anchored and rooted in God. I can't give you any guarantees. I can't give you any promises. But what I will say that God is faithful. And there will come a time that you won't cry about it. There will come a time that you will remember it, but you won't remember it with pain. I sit here as a living witness and as a testimony to you all that God heals from the inside out. And I remember the occurrences that happened in the marriage and happened in the divorce, and it doesn't hurt anymore. We don't cry about it anymore. And healing is something so beautiful. And my prayer is that you can experience it. So know this, that the grace of God is upon your life, that you have a measure of grace that is not the same as other people. Walk side by side with God. And if that means 2 steps a day, that's 2 steps a day. If that means a mile a day, that's a mile a day. You will get to the other side. So listen, I'll be here next week with another encouraging video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
It's on my